Welcome to Gate City Chronicles. I'm Kevin Avard, your host, and I'm here with an author, Deb Shorter, and author of many books, and we're going to talk about some of her books. So welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
Great. I'm excited to hear about your books. So I guess it's about Della and Doofus.
Yes, okay. This is a children's series.
Okay.
That it'll come out on March 13th. It'll be available on Amazon and on my website, debshorter.com. And it's about two red-boned coonhounds who I actually own, and they're Della and Chaffee, but he, big, long, floppy ears, and he's a doofus.
He looks like a doofus.
Yeah, he hasn't got a clue, what's going on. Della's very smart, and they get themselves into all kind of mischief. But my book has a twist that other authors have never done. So it's pretty exciting.
Do you want to tell about that twist now? Or?
This book is actually the only book that I've written. I have 5 books coming out this year, and I just finished Eye on Welfare, and which has done phenomenally well.
Eye on Welfare, okay.
Yeah, and Eye into Welfare, I'm sorry, and it's doing...
Ripping the mask off of the welfare program.
That's correct.
Right.
So that book's finished, and then I have another book coming out on methadone use in America. And then I have the series for Della and Doofus, because I'm a grandmother of 7, and I've always found that when I'm reading to the kids, it's their story, and I don't really participate in it. So I thought, how cool would it be to write a children's book that is an adult book too? So it comes with 2 books. So it's a package of 10. The first series that comes out is a package of 10, and it has a parent's book and a child's book. And so, for instance, in the first story, Della and Doofus decide to go for an adventure, but they leave the yard, and they're not supposed to leave the yard. So they go on their adventure in the child's book, and then the parent goes on the adventure of trying to find them.
Oh, that's
and
very interesting.
All the things. So every story is just like that. So each page matches, and the child can read a page, and then the parent reads a page. And at the end, the whole story comes together.
How wonderful is that?
Yeah.
Now, how many of these have you finished?
There'll be 20 altogether, but they'll come in series of 5. So 10 books will come at each time.
Now, what grade level are these books for the children?
They're actually, they could be, younger kids can read them too, but of course they're going to have to be in first grade or late kindergarten for them to read their own books. But these can easily be read to the parent, and the parent can go back and forth in them too.
Wonderful.
But they all teach a nice moral lesson. And my co-writer, Kara Estes, she's writing the book with the dogs. So she's writing from the dog's point of view as a child, and I write from the adult point of view of all the trouble that they get us into and the worry and the overwhelming craziness that children cause. So, but it gives the kids a good idea of what it looks like for the parents on their side, because they want to be Della and Doofus, and they really get an idea of what it's like.
Now, these books, you can get these on Kindle?
There'll be a Kindle available. There'll be Amazon, all of them at Amazon. I always do Kindle because, it's a hot thing now. And so they'll be available on that too, yeah.
Interesting. Now, how long have you been writing?
I've been writing since I was 5, but I didn't publish until last year. Mm-hmm. And I'm really amazed at how well my book's doing. I work with a publicist. I'm self-published, but I work with a publicist, Stephen Abbott, PR, out of Massachusetts, and he does a fabulous job. And it's just been a whirlwind, and it's so much fun to write. It's been the dream of my life. But this, my first book has it really blew me away.
Which is?
Is An Eye into Welfare.
The An Eye into Welfare.
Yeah.
And you were a caseworker, or
I was a caseworker for 10 years for the state of New Hampshire.
So tell us a little bit about the Pen Den.
Oh, the Pen Den's the coolest place on the planet.
What is a Pen Den?
Well, my husband, when I decided to retire from my career at the state, I came home, and my husband in 14 days built a Pen Den. I live way up in northern Hampshire, and we have a lot of land. So he made a road that goes to the Pen Den, and I walk to work now every day, which is really nice. But the Pen Den is almost all glass, and it's a writer's heaven. And we named it because our oldest grandson, Darius, he said, we should name it. He's into Ben 10. Mm-hmm. And he said, let's name it Ben 10. And that just got me thinking. I was like, the Pen Den would be a very cool place. And the Pen Den just got voice activated. So I'm ripping.
Well, we were talking a little bit about that too. And I'm actually intrigued by that. You're driving down the road, all of a sudden you have a great idea.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. And, well, you can't be in the Pen Den. So all of a sudden you just hit on the Bluetooth, and you open up a certain file, and then you talk into the file, and it's being printed as through.
Well, when you get home and you get near your Wi-Fi area,
Right.
it just picks it up, and then when I walk back to my office or wherever I am at home, I can say, print, and it prints it out. So it's really neat.
So is it editing for you in the process too?
No, I don't want to say that, because editing, every book you edit so many times it's almost pathetic.
Right.
You edit till you're sick of the book, pretty much.
Right.
But it does show you some corrections, and it picks up on how you talk, so it makes it pretty clear. Dragon has come such a long way, and now Dragon, is really clarifying what you're saying to it. It gets used to your voice very quickly.
Well, it's funny. I was
You
talking.
can do emails, you can do blogs, you can do everything with it.
I was talking to Dick, our engineer here, on my cell phone. You know how they got that little
Microphone,
speaker?
yeah.
And I'm driving down the highway, and I'm trying to be really good about this. But hey, Dick, I need to be someplace at such and such a time. By the time he got the message, I didn't have a chance to look at it because I didn't have my glasses on. He says, "I'm saving this one."
Yeah, I bet. I've done a few
I'm
of
sure
those.
he's laughing as we're talking.
Yeah, I have done a few of those.
So does that happen when you're on the road and you've lost your thought?
It used to in the beginning when I first started using it, because I've only been doing it for a couple months. But Dragon has become so advanced now. Like I said, it picks up so clearly now, and I talk very fast, as you know, and it just picks it all up, picks it all up, picks it all up. The hardest part about using it is, when you're trying to remember, oops, I'm thinking something else and I'm in the wrong file.
Oh, right.
But then when I'm looking at the printout, I just say, move that sentence to file number 24, wherever I want it to go.
And that's really cool.
Or, if the nicest part about it is if I'm in my office, I do all my social media for all my writing, so that can be a full-time job in itself.
Right.
And it's really helped in that area, because I just say, send the message on Facebook, blah, 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 and off it goes,
Right. Now, I asked you a little earlier about your creative time, and you told me that you try to build a structure and live by the structure.
Isn't that every writer's dream?
Yeah.
I'm going to write from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon.
Right.
If only you could be inspired for it to click in at all those times.
Right, but it doesn't happen that way. Right?
It doesn't happen that way, unfortunately. I think that once, there's a process to just get the story down. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously the funnest part of the job. Because it is a job, just like any other job. Once you begin to take it seriously as a writer, you're working a job. Mm-hmm. But usually my most creative talent comes around the bewitching hour of 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
But anyone that knows me, that's my wake-up time.
Yeah.
And so I do most of my creative writing will come out then, but sometimes it's when I'm driving in a car. And now that I'm afforded this new technology,
Right.
I can write chapter after chapter after chapter just driving.
And you're just driving down the road, you're chatting away, and you're having a good old time.
Yeah, and I travel a lot, so it's really handy now. It's really handy. But that's the only way I'd be able to put out 5 books in 1 year.
Right.
That would take me 5 years in normal circumstances.
Is dragging expensive?
Gosh, no. I want to say that I got it for about $75, and the Bluetooth was maybe another $70.
Oh, the Bluetooth.
I got a pretty fancy Bluetooth.
Right. That's.
Because
I'm thinking $1,000.
And I'm not a huge computer literate person. I mean, I am now because my job requires it.
Right.
But I'm not a big suave, went to school for computers. I went to school for writing, so I don't have any idea really. I'm just trial and error.
Right.
And I'm still trialing and erroring, because you have to learn to talk different. But when you write, you're always thinking in your head, you're writing your sentence, putting in your commas, putting in your periods. Now you just have to say it out loud.
Well, that's what I'm just trying to visualize as you're in your pen den. You're actually, you're doing your rowing machine, you're having a good workout, and you're thinking and you're talking. You're not, oh my God, I have to erase that whole line and redo it all over again because I mistyped it, or you cut and paste. None of that. You just start talking, and
yeah, because the object of the game is to get it on paper.
Right.
And then the editing process. It's a hard time to make the transition, so I haven't made the transition to complete editing by voice activation.
Right.
But I'm sure I'll get there. I slowly get there as I go. But And I notice now, and it's like I say, it's only been a couple of months, but I notice now that it's a lot easier to say, where I'll say paragraph or, quote that or, put a comma there or a period. And when I go back and look at it, I'm amazed at how accurate it is.
Interesting. Now talk to me a little bit about your zoning out. You're usually in your creative mode. You're either rowing, you're either into your exercise or into your thought pattern, and you're talking away, and all of a sudden your husband comes and he knocks on the door. Hey, you got to eat. Time to eat.
It sometimes can kill you. Right. We have a sort of rule for the pen den. I have a marker that's on the road to the pen den. And if the marker is flipped, you're not allowed to come there.
Do not disturb.
Yeah, because once you get in the flow, you don't want to really, it's very hard. I think everyone can write, and there's no problem, and I love that everyone writes, but not everyone can be a writer, because you have to be able to go to that other level. You have to be able to dig a little deeper, and you have to be able to get into the mindset of your character. Mm-hmm. And if you've got a lot of distractions, that's, I think, almost an impossibility.
When I tell stories to the kids at night, I get into the character.
I imagine you
do. My gosh, the lights are off. Kevin's up in the loft, and Kylie's down in the lower end, and there was this Brer Rabbit. You've heard of Brer Rabbit?
Sure.
Well, little old Brer Rabbit, he laid low, and that doggy, I tell you, and then I just get right into the characters, and I lose myself, but they're into it, and then when they have sleepovers, the kids, BK, please tell them the story about, and it'll be.
That's wonderful.
But I wish I'd have recorded some of these. I thought, where did that come from?
You just have to remember that with Dragon, they will see each of those characters as a different voice.
Really?
So I wrote a story in my book, Eye into Welfare, and it's about a lady who's from Africa. And she has a real jive to her voice.
Do you talk
So
jive?
I actually had to sort of go into that mode for a little bit to train it so that but I actually put it as a different character. So that's what I do with Dragon. I set up my different characters. But very rarely do I have to do that, only if someone's a foreigner or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I do have to watch for my New England slang that shows up ever so evidently in a lot of things that I write.
Well, that's interesting. So again, the name of the book is Del and Doofus.
Della and Doofus, yeah.
And it is on Kindle, and there's a series of 20 books, but it comes in a series, a pocket of 5?
Yeah, a pocket of 5.
A pocket of 5,
yeah.
And on Kindle?
It comes out on March 13th, and it'll be available Kindle and in paperback.
Now you have a website.
I do, debshorter.com.
Debshorter.com, that easy, www.debshorter.com.
That's it, very easy.
And that can go through all the books that you've written?
It actually goes through, well, Eye into Welfare is my first published book, and I have, like I say, 5 more books coming out this year. But in the previews, it goes in there and shows you all the new books coming out, like 13 Fires, 3 Ds of Death, What in the Whatever, Della and Doofus.
Do you have a blog to go along with the welfare book?
I actually put a blog into my website, but I have to be honest with you, I'm so active on social media, I haven't really had a time to work on a blog. And so in the social media thing, we just get chatting so much about it, and I'm just getting into the whole Twitter thing, which is kind of cool.
Are you on
I'm
Facebook?
Really liking that. Absolutely, I'm on Facebook.
You're on Facebook?
Deb Shorter Author. Yeah.
Deb Shorter Author.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Twitter is Deb Shorter Author.
And these are open accounts for everybody to view. Some people are.
Yeah.
Right.
I have quite a good fan base at this point. My Facebook fan base is very good.
Now, have you gone to any of the schools to talk about some of your books, or to?
No, because I've only became published on December 13th of 2012.
Right.
So I'm a beginner in this, but I left in 2009 and have been writing intensely. And just like any other business, it takes a couple of years to learn how it all goes and what the process is. And so now that I'm learning that, and now that I have a publicist,
right.
And I'm sure as I become richer and richer and more famous, I'll be able to pay other people to do the jobs that I think stink.
Hey, when you're famous, remember, right? Remember us little people.
Yeah, right.
I was just thinking about a classroom setting though, where teachers are going through, the literary. And maybe some students taking up the child part of the story, and some students taking up the adult part of the story. I don't know. I just thought that was.
That would be kind of neat to see that happen. Yeah. I don't know. That's the thing I love about writing is you really don't know where the process is going to take you. So that's one of the fun things about it. I like that unexplained area and charting that you go into.
Right. Well, that's what makes it fun.
It does. It does.
Is there anything else you want our viewers to know about your books?
Available at Amazon and at debshorter.com.
And buy often, right?
And buy often.
Right.
Yeah,
They
and
make
download. And now Amazon has the new free loan. You know, that's a great program.
Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
They make great Christmas presents if you're already shopping for Christmas for next year.
That would be great.
All right.
That would be super.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming on Gate City
Thanks
Chronicles.
for having me.
All right, and until next week, thank you for watching Gate City Chronicles.